Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Remember I told y'all that predators can be anywhere. And skilled predators, they hide in positions that allows them to have access to the type of people that they target. This could be positions of power like police, politicians, pastors, boys club, girls club, those kind of people, counselors, even school teachers, babysitters, these kinds of positions. And they can be anywhere, and you have to be careful. Check this story out. Former Antigua and Barbuda Olympian found guilty of molesting boys. Now, Conrad Mainwaring, I don't know why he was in a wheelchair, but I'm about to find out. So, Massachusetts, a former Antigua and Barbuda Olympian and long-term track and field coach who used his status to abuse young boys will spend what the judge said would be probably a life sentence after he pleaded guilty to 12 counts of indecent assault and battery on a child over 14 years. 12 counts. Good God. 12 counts. Now, in addition, Conrad Mainwaring, who was a hurdler for Antigua and Barbuda back in the day, back in the 70s. Matter of fact, he was at the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal. He also pleaded guilty to 4 counts of indecent assault and battery on a child under 14. These charges involved 9 male victims under 14. Oh my gosh. So this man was really getting at it. The Berkshire Superior Court was told that Mainwaring is now 72 years old, and he's a Los Angeles resident and a United Kingdom national. So that means he represented Antigua and Barbuda in the Olympics, but he is a national of the United Kingdom, and he is a resident of Los Angeles, California. He moves around a lot. It is said that he sexually molested young boys at a sports camp in western Massachusetts in the 70s. And he today, in 2024, faces up to 11 years in prison for this. See, this shit's coming back to haunt him. This molestation allegedly took place in the 70s, I guess, to the 80s. We're in 2024. Somebody would have thought that you got away with something, right? This is why I love the United States of America. Because people be thinking they got away with stuff when all it is, nah, you just on ice until they're ready to put you away. Now, Judge John Agostini said that it was probably going to be a life sentence given Mainwaring's age. He is 72 years old. And if they put him in prison for 10 years, he'll be 82. 11 years, he'll be 83 years old when he gets out of prison. He used his Olympic status to abuse young boys. He chose boys who were young, I don't know who the hell wrote this, because they said he chose boys who were young, attractive, athletic, because he knew, at least he thought he knew, that they would not speak up. I don't know how you think somebody is attractive and athletic means they will not speak up. And I don't know who the hell wrote that they were young and attractive. But that's all friggin' weird in itself right there. So I just want my audience to know that that's not my wording. That's me giving you the information as I'm sourcing the information as it's delivered to the public. By the way, this is written in the Jamaica Gleaner. just so there's no plagiarism, and I'm taking heavily from this, even though I'm not reading word for word, but I am reading some parts of it word for word. He used his Olympic status to abuse young boys. He chose young, attractive, athletic boys, young men, because he knew, at least he thought he knew, that they would not speak up. This was his opportunity for self-gratification, a fraud at the expense of many, many lives. These are the words of District Attorney Timothy Shagru as he told the courts. Now, Shagru, the district attorney, he detailed the case after case in which Mainwaring leveraged his Olympic credentials as part of a grooming technique used on boys that were attending Camp Greylock, making the youngsters believe that the sexual assault would make them better athletes. The abuse took place in the woods, around the camp, in a van, and near a tennis court, among other places. Well, you fucked up. You know you done fucked up, right? Pardon my language, everybody who's hearing this, but yeah, he fucked up. And I use the word fucked up because you might been able to get away with that in Antigua, but you came to the United States of America with your pedophile self, and here you are. And I'll tell you what, going to prison in the United States of America for sexual molestation of young kids is never a good experience for the person. It's better off you went there for murder or something else, like you killed another man. But you went in there for molesting boys and then pleaded guilty to 12 counts of something and then 11 counts of another something, or 9 counts. Listen, it's about to be hell for his 72-year-old ass in there. Now, Mainwaring, who appeared in court in a wheelchair and wearing a mask, said yes when asked by the judge if he committed the offenses that were laid out in court. Did you do what you've been accused of doing? He said, yes, Your Honor, I'm guilty. After each of the charges was read out. Every charge that was read out, he said, yes, Your Honor, I'm guilty. The court heard that he molested campers from 1975 to 1979 while working as a counselor at Camp Greylock in Beckett, from 75 to 79 while working as a camp counselor. So he had a long run. Break this part. While working at a counselor. Okay, so authorities have said that they believe that there are many other victims in several states across the United States of America and outside the United States of America. They believe that he probably has done this in the UK. He probably has done this in Antigua and Barbuda. And he probably has done this in other countries that he has traveled to as well. You got to understand how he was moving as an Olympian, as somebody that had accomplished the dreams that young kids wish that one day they could accomplish. So they would look up to him as an Olympian, thinking that he had something to offer which would help them to realize their own dreams. So he was leveraging his Olympic experience, using that as bait, and then telling these young kids that the sexual experience they were having with him was a part of what would make them better athletes. Damn. Some of the camp victims, who were as young as 13 years old as 19 years old, testified at last Thursday's hearing and calling Mainwaring a danger to young men. There's no way this could have happened in the 70s if some of the victims who testified last week, February of 2024, are 13 years old. So this means that he started from back in the 70s, but he actually still continued doing this up until recently, right? These kids, 13 to 19 years old, got on the stand and testified and called this man a danger to young men. They demanded long jail sentences for him. They arguing that he should be kept away from boys and young men and he should be barred forever from coaching. I agree. And at 72, now it's beyond diabolical. The pain and the suffering of so many. This is why he must be put behind bars and be prevented from ever being able to harm any other children ever again, said John Shapiro, who is an entrepreneur and a father of 3 who told the courts how he was abused at the Massachusetts camp in Syracuse University. Damn. Attorney Michael Waxman details how he met Mainwaring 40 years ago at the camp, and he was overjoyed that Mainwaring had picked him and would have followed him to the end of the earth to see the dream of becoming a top athlete, because he believed that Mainwaring had the ingredients to make him that. Massachusetts authorities started investigating Mainwaring following a 2019 ESPN report in which more than 50 men came out to say that they were abused by him. Some of them were at Camp Greylock. Others were at other places. But 50 men, 50 people who are now men, who saw this man still out there doing his thing, decided to come together, go to ESPN Sports, and say, hey, we need to talk about this guy. So that's when they started investigating him. He was arrested in 2021 on a fugitive warrant as he left a Los Angeles County courthouse after a plea in a separate case from 2019. Mainwaring also is accused in several lawsuits of abusing dozens upon dozens of young men when he was a doctoral student, a deputy residency hall director, and a track and field coach at Syracuse University in the 80s. So this guy is highly accomplished, obviously highly driven. Olympian. You know what it takes to become an Olympian? You have to be the best of the best athlete to make it to the Olympics. You got to be the best out of your country to make it to the Olympics. And he accomplished that. And then he was a doctoral student at the University of Syracuse, or Syracuse University, which means he was studying on a PhD level, highly accomplished. And then he was the Deputy Residency Hall Director. Deputy Residency Hall Director. That means he is in charge, or a part of the team that's in charge of the living, rooming, and boarding situation. You see what I said from the beginning of the video, how these people put themselves in positions, in job titles, and places where they can have access to. If you know anything about going to a school, a university, and living on campus, then you will know that Deputy Residency Hall Director is going to be all up in your living space. They have access to where your bedroom is at in those dorms. And he's going to be always in the halls, in the dorms. And while he was that Deputy Residency Hall Director, he was also the track and field coach at the same time. And studying a PhD. So people could trust him. With a record like that, somebody would say this man is squeaky clean and doesn't have any time to be involved in anything else. Well, lo and behold, 50 men, 50. And this man pleads guilty to 12 counts of indecent assault and battery on a child over 14 years. So that's over a 14-year period. And he also pleaded guilty to 4 counts of indecent assault and battery on a child who is under 14 years old. God damn. Man, listen, y'all be careful out there. You have children, be extra vigilant. Matter of fact, all the children around are our children. Because you might not have children, or your children might be grown and gone, but your sister might have children, or your daughter might have children. You might be a grandparent. So you're still somewhat responsible for helping to make sure that predators like these, who come in a nice suit, well educated, eloquently spoken, very clean, well mannered, are actually predators, and you want to protect them from your children, but you won't know it unless you know what to look for. I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's a shame that he could not go out and leave this life with some honor and some dignity after accomplishing all that. I'm out. Peace.